Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. It's the trash bag. Roster review time. I'm here with my 9 other league mates. Bunch of spoons you guys are. Here, you'll see that right now we're going to be looking at all of the different, the rosters. First roster here, obviously, is just got to be the best. But yeah, that's what we're going to do today. We're just going to kind of roast the rosters, kind of pick up, show some sneaky plays. Got my other daughter here. My other one's in there. Pain and scrotum, all of you. So yeah, that's it. Let's go through. Let's kind of see where we are, and I wish I could see kind of where where people were taken. I don't know. Oh, I actually can. Okay, so first off, let me go through. Let me see some reaches, and one player in this league in particular kind of reached a little more than others. His last name rhymes with Salder. So, a reach, I think, would be considered anything maybe around, 7 or on. So round 8, I don't see anything crazy. The first reach I see is Chase Brown. Okay, Chase Brown is not even the starter yet. He could be. He's a very good player. But even if he is the starter, I don't think I would have took him in the 8th round. That's just me, and that's another thing. The second reach, again, by one of the same player is Evan. He took Jake Ferguson. Again, could be a good player, but you also could have got him several rounds later. I thought Xavier Legette was a reach in the 10th. And then let's see what else. Galt taking TJ Hawkinson in the 10th. That's a little much. Tyler Algier in the 11th. I mean, that is just like, oh my goodness, like that is like the Democratic Party reaching for our typically big blue states to say they're going to do something to help them, but they actually don't. Let's see, Jordan Addison in 12, whatever, dude. I mean, I see Derek Carr in the 14th by Alex. You kind of had no choice, and I mean, in the 14th round in a Superflex league, what are you going to do? I don't know where. Oh, here it is. Nick Chubb in the 9th round by Calder. That's insane. I mean, you probably could have got away with not drafting him at all if I could just picked him up off waivers. Around Nick Chubb, you have players like Rashee Rice, Evan Ingram, Calvin Ridley, Deontay Johnson, Christian Kirk. It's just, I don't know. It kind of makes me nauseous even thinking about it. But let bygones be bygones. I'm going to go to each team. Well, first, let's do this. Can you do the league standings final? You can't do the, final standing projections. Here you go. These are always silly in my opinion, but we'll do it anyway. Galt, I've noticed this. If you have the first pick, so you have the best asset, unless you mess it up, it's like 99% of the time you are projected to be first. So let's just go ahead and put that out there. Galt's projected to be first. Skeet is projected to be second. Not really sure how. His roster's bad. Same with Gary. Third, the Archbishop Anti, a.k.a. the trash bag. At 4, Alex 5, Clay 6, Scoggins, Evan, Cheese, and none other than Calder in dead last. I've already got a couple ad drops. I mean, I've got a Rico Dowdle ad, a Michael Wilson ad. I mean, what are you going to do with that? All right, so roster construction. We're going to go through, and I'm just going to look at the teams, and I'm just going to go through one at a time and kind of see if I can find any weaknesses. We'll start with Alex. Alex has a pretty strong running back or a quarterback core. He's got Joe Burrow and C.J. Stroud. They both got enough toys. Joe Burrow, he's on my official do not draft list for many reasons. But yeah, he I don't know. That could go good or bad. He's got Barkley again. That could go good or bad. Aaron Jones, I wouldn't have drafted him if he was on waivers. CeeDee Lamb is by far his best player, and then he's got the Brandon Ayuk George Kittle combo. Kind of makes me nauseous. I don't like stacking up like that. And my favorite player on his roster is James Conner in his first flex. That's sneaky. I like that. So overall, can't roast him too bad. Wish I could, but I can't. Next, we'll go to Grayson. Not that he'll ever see this, but I leave no stone unturned. With the uppercut. with taking Jalen Hurts at 3, coupled with Jordan Love. It's hard to go wrong with that. Both of his quarterbacks will be out of the way this Friday, actually, with the Brazil game, whatever that's about. I think he chose a hero running back strategy with Isaiah Pacheco being his hero, followed by Brian Robinson and Devin Singletary. Slight nausea. I might need some nausea medicine for that, but overall it's okay. Drake London and Debo, I do like that. That's pretty tough. I do not like T. Higgins. Do not draft list for many of years now. I just don't think he's a good football player. I don't think he's a good wide receiver. I just think he knows how to go up and get the ball. No Genie McCarthy. Pain and scrotum. Dalton Kincaid, baby daddy, Prince Pookie Bear. I just felt like there was a little bit too much value for me not to take Andrews in that pick, but Dalton Kincaid easily could be the tight end 1 in my opinion. I think tight end 1, 2, and 3 literally is going to be Andrews, Kincaid, McBride. That's how I see it. And then my favorite player on Cheese's roster is Rashee Rice in his second flex spot. And then he sprinkled in a little Blake Corum in there for the Kyron Williams owner. Very savage. Skeet's roster. Let's look and see here. I don't know. I feel like he's got depth, but he only has like 2 players that are really good. He's got Baker and Tua as his quarterbacks, so that's probably the worst 2 quarterbacks we've seen so far in this show. Pookie Bear, Breece Hall. Again, I would have taken him, but I've got him in 2 other leagues already. And if I make it 3, especially in the No Cheese League, I'll kill him. I will literally kill the man. He's got Jonathan Taylor. So Breece Hall and Jonathan Taylor's tough. Marvin Harrison, total toss-up. Let's see what else. David Njoku. I'm not a fan. DJ Moore, a little bit too much competition for me. I do like Devonta Smith, probably my favorite player on his roster. A lot of people coming in here with really strong first flexes. Our first flexes so far, we've seen Rashee Rice, a few other guys like that. And guys, I'm seeing these texts. I can't even focus on this show because you guys are saying I'm trying to finesse people. Number of rings, all of you. I'm not going to sit here and get raw dog steady pace from the back, by people who, the only person I'll even allow to speak to me that way is Galt. And honestly, he's simple as well. Honestly, whatever. Skeet's team's very subpar. Let's see. Scoggins, Patrick Mahomes, and Aaron Rodgers. Patrick Mahomes is him. Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if that's going to pan out. Scoggins probably has the least depth in the league, in my opinion, but his starting lineup isn't bad. I'd say his weakest player is George Pickens, and he's still the number 1 player on the team. But he just has nobody throwing him the football. Maybe Cortland Sutton, but they'll be losing so often. It's like, I think they'll be good. So you got Jahmyr Gibbs, Rachaad White, kind of like that. Nakua and Tank Dell, I do like that. Then he's got his savior of the world, Tyler Algier. I guess he thinks he's going to be better than everybody in the league, which he's just not. I don't think he understands the ineptitude that Arthur Smith brought to the table. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell off the jump, but I don't mind his roster. My favorite player is Tank Dell at the 2 spot of his wide receiver. That's pretty good. I don't think you can go wrong there. All right, let's see what else here. We got Galt. He's already finessed somebody. That didn't take long. He's got Kyler Murray, Caleb Williams, and Dak Prescott. Pretty strong quarterback core. Christian McCaffrey and Derrick Henry, very strong running back core. A.J. Brown and Devontae Adams, very strong. And flex, Malik Neighbors. And Kupp, also very strong. By far the worst player on his roster is Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz is going to play fifth fiddle down there. I think he's just a touchdown, hope he gets a touchdown kind of play. As far as rosters themselves, I think myself, Galt, and Clay have the 3 best. But that's just me. Whatever. Wage to all of you. Evan, let's see here. Evan has Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence makes me nauseous. He has Kyron Williams, which I like, but Cheese has Blake Corum, so I don't really care about that too much. Devon Achane, I think his spoon kind of ran out last year, and he did kind of get hurt a little bit. So whatever with that. We got Mike Evans and DK Metcalf. I do like that. I do like that. Zay Flowers, Jerome Ford, Jake Ferguson. I don't mind it. I just thought he reached a little bit on, like I said, Jake Brown and Jake Ferguson and Chase Brown. But overall, it's not terrible. Definitely better than Calder's. But what's that saying? Operation Mail in the Toilet. That's Clay. Somewhat weak quarterback room, but probably the strongest wide receiver room in here. I mean, he could easily, by the time the season's all said and done, with Pittman, Olave, Jefferson, and Hill, he could easily have 4 top 12 receivers, and he won't trade them unless, the apocalypse happens. So expect those players to be on his team for the long haul. I don't like Najee Harris. He's not a good player, has the vision of Helen Keller. I do like Kenneth Walker, but I don't like how they brought the new offensive coordinator, Ryan Grubb, I think is his name. I don't like how they brought him there, and he is a traditionally pass-heavy offensive coordinator. So you've got Kenneth Walker, who is typically a big player bust kind of guy anyway. Now, granted, if they score a little more red zone opportunities, never know. But, overall, I like his team. I'm not a huge fan of the Goff Stafford thing, but I do like the Goff Laporta thing. But I also don't think Laporta is going to get 11 touchdowns again because he got 3 in one game. On to Gary's team, very, very inept roster. I'm kidding. Gary actually has a pretty tough roster. Once again, he has Javonte Williams, just not a good football player. We've seen it. He's just not. I don't know why he's ever even drafted by anyone. His quarterbacks are Lamar and Brock. Serious touchdown regression from Brock incoming, and Lamar. After the Taylor Swift Bowl, I'm sure he'll be off and running. He does have Josh Jacobs and Joe Mixon. I like that, except the Josh Jacobs and Joe Mixon part. Josh Jacobs may be okay, but Joe Mixon, we know who you are, just incredibly inefficient. Jamar Chase, if he plays, that's awesome, coupled with Nico Collins and then Kyle Pitts. Gary's entire roster is hinged on what-ifs. So just 10 out of 10 would not recommend. And then Calder's roster, my Lord. I think Calder tried to do the Mike Williams reach. I didn't bring that up. Lord have mercy, brother. I mean, you could have went your entire you could have got him off waivers today. So you got Herbert and Cousins. I don't see either of them guys ever eclipsing 40 total combined. Whereas you got guys like, we'll just use mine and Galt's room, for example. You've got Anthony Richardson, Jane Daniels, who could easily get 25 apiece that we've seen. And then you have Kyler and Dak, who we've seen get 25 apiece before. So Justin Herbert in a Greg Roman-led offense, whom, by the way, Greg Roman, in case you didn't know, he's the old Ravens coordinator. He's been in an offensive coordinator position for 6 years. 4 of the 6 years, he's been bottom two in passing. So Justin Herbert, after we saw last year, he had the opportunity to pass like crazy, and he's just not a very good thrower. But he's got a big arm and he's tall. I don't care. I do like the Travis Etienne Kamara combo, and then jump down and get Swift in his flex and Amari Cooper in his second flex. That's not bad. Best player by far is Amon-Ra. You knew he wasn't going to leave the draft without him. And then, of course, the Trash Bags team. Let's see here. I'd say my only weak spot is my second flex, and it's Christian Watson, and he's the number 1 receiver on a pass-heavy offense with an MVP-level quarterback. So, you stay healthy. That's a pretty tough second flex. I've got the best tight end room in the league with Evan Ingram and Mark Andrews. The running capabilities of my quarterbacks is awesome. I got Bijan and James Cook. James Cook, once Joe Brady took over, he just absolutely took off. He lost his mind, went crazy. Called the Democratic Party on losing their mind and going crazy on preying on the weak. And then Garrett Wilson, Pookie Bear, Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle was, I think, like the 3rd highest targeted receiver in the NFL last year, and that's with leaving every game early. And then my personal favorite player on my roster is Terry McLaurin, coupled with Jaden Daniels. I just think that Terry McLaurin's had like 4 straight seasons of 1,000 yards, and then you actually give him a legitimate quarterback with legitimate options and a legitimate wage. Head coaching staff now. I think the sky's the limit for this guy. I do like Jackson Smith and Jigma on my roster, and that has a lot to do with Ryan Grubb still, pass heavy offense. And Dontavian Wicks, who's better than Tyler Algier. But we'll look at the scoreboard this week. We did do the switch up, no Bruce Jenner, on the schedule finally. So this year, instead of me getting a free win with Gary, it's going to be a free win with Evan. Projected are 125 Andrew, 122 Evan. Let's see. Yep. So we got Evan or Scoggins and Gary, 124, 122, 124. Gary's projected higher. Galt, I think, has the second highest projected points in the league. Not sure how. His team's dumpster booty juices. I'm playing. McCaffrey projected at 20. That doesn't help anything. But Skeet has 120. Skeet has 120. Galt has 127. And again, like you see, the three highest projections, I said me, Galt, and Clay, in my opinion, have the strongest rosters, and the projections reflect that. Calder has the lowest projections, the second lowest projection behind Skeet. And that has a lot to do with the quarterbacks. Both decided to kind of lay back on quarterbacks. I mean, I got Skeet, who is Baker Mayfield. I think Baker Mayfield, Tua, and Deshaun, if I'm not mistaken. And then Calder was Herbert and Cousins. It's kind of hard. You have to get a staple quarterback. Calder had a chance last year. It was his chance to do it, but it was ripped from the jaws of defeat by the trash bag. But, yeah, and then you have Alex and Cheese. That'll be real fun. Sort of fun trash talk, but at the same time, both are a little vanilla. And then you have Calder and Clay. Both are just not good. But yeah, that's about it. I mean, as far as let me go to standings. I mean, if I had to pick my playoff teams right now, I would pick Andrew, Alex, Galt, Clay, this is where it gets tougher, man. I probably Cheese, just because he gets spoon fed. No other reason. Probably Gary, leaving as it stands, leaving Calder, Evan, Scoggins, and Skeet out. But that's my take. These are our 6 spoons that I think are going to make it to the playoffs. You all get spoon fed. I'm out Thursday night. Taylor Swift Bowl. Be there, be square. Trash bag out.